Alright, this is the Panzer AR12 Pro G2 overview. If you want to see kind of what comes in the box, check out the other video. If you want to see a complete teardown, I've done a video of that as well. But I want to give you my thoughts on this gun. I'm going to go through the good things, go through some recommendations, then I'm going to go through some bad things. Two of the bad items are quite serious. So let's dive in. So the good thing is the price. This thing could be found for $500 or less. I got mine from Midway for $4.99. I did find it cheaper out there, but the picture on that website was a little different, and I ended up going with Midway just because the picture. And then I called them and confirmed that this is going to be the actual gun that I would get. I do need to note that it does not come with the angled foregrip. And it does not come with this sling mount here. It did come with a different sling mount, but I'll get into that a little bit. So the good thing, the price, the looks, obviously it's an AR style. It's got a shotgun bolt though. If you're familiar with the AR style platforms, it's got the mag release here. It's got the bolt release lever here. It's got your safety switch here. It's got your rails that are typically found on the AR platforms. It's this particular one, the good thing about this is it's got the all metal upper and lower. Okay, there's a different model out there with a poly lower. This one's got the metal lower. Another thing is the grip. It's a nice rubberized grip. Usually when I get these type of guns, one of the first things I do is swap out the grip for kind of a rubberized grip. This thing is really nice. There's no need to really upgrade this. In fact, it's got this little access hatch in the bottom that you can store stuff in if you got some batteries you need to run with some optics or something. The other thing is what it comes with. Again, if you want to see what it comes with, check out my other video, but it comes with a lot of stuff. 2 magazines, a cleaning kit, chokes, tools, I mean, you name it. So the other thing is the trigger, when it works good, it feels good. I am having issues with this, which I'll get into a little bit, that's going to cause me to eventually send this back to Panzer for review and repair. But when you actually do click the trigger, it's a really nice audible click. Another thing is the availability of this model. The poly one is a little bit more popular, the G4. It's really hard to find. Right now it's out of stock on a lot of websites. This one's in stock on pretty much all the major websites that I saw. And then some recommendations. When you go through the gun, make sure everything's tight. When you get the gun, there's a lot of things that are loose. This thing was loose. A couple of the barrel nuts, or the gas system nuts are loose. Just make sure that you're tightening them up, everything. A good cleaning, you'll find all that stuff. So, let's jump into the bad things. I'll kind of start out with the simplest, and I'll go into kind of the most severe. So, the bad thing is the front sling. Okay, it's this piece right here. It floats in here. If you see the teardown video, kind of see where it's supposed to go. It just flops around. It's not secured. It's really loose, and it's clunky, and it bounces around and makes a metal sound. It's really awkward. So that's why I took it off and put this one on. Next thing is kind of the looseness of everything. It does loosen up after a while. If you take it to the range afterwards, you'll notice that well, maybe yours will do it like mine. I did notice this thing does loosen up a little bit, so just be cautious there. The magazine, well, I don't know if you're not going to be able to see this, but in the stopper that are in here, the stopper, kind of the areas here to stop the magazine from going too far in, they get a little marred up. It looks like, only after twice out, it's getting a little marred up. I don't know what's up with that. But the other thing is, speaking of the magazine, well, the Pro Mag 20 round drum, I think it's at 1919. It fits a lot of these ARs. It did not fit into this without modification to that drum. So what I mean was, I push it in, and it was about 1/8 of an inch. It stopped about 1/8 of an inch short of this the magazine release, or the catch, and it wasn't engaging the catch. So you could push it in and just pull right back out. It wouldn't lock in. So what I did was I shaved about maybe a little more than 1/16 of an inch off the front of that magazine, the metal part, and it slides in, and it fits right in now. So the gas system, they say it's the improved gas system. I don't know how improved or how bad the previous version was, but this thing does not like to run anything that's less than 1,300 feet per second rounds. I was running some 1300s, and it wasn't ejecting the shell. In fact, it wasn't even, the bolt wasn't even really going all the way back, and the empty shell would stay in there. So, one of the forks. Let me tear this down for you here a second. I'll show you what was happening with mine. There's part of the gas system was getting hung up, and it wasn't. I guess the gas system wasn't cycling. It wasn't going back with the bolt and going back into place. And I'll show you what was going on exactly. So I'll take this off. Just bear with me here a second when I get this apart. Okay. Just gonna take all this out at once here. Actually, I gotta release these retainer screws here, or pins. So what was happening is this piece right here. See that? It was, this side was, or one of these sides was bent in. And I actually had two of these at one point, two identical models. And one was functioning, this one wasn't. And we're like, what's going on? So we held these, side by side, and sure enough, this thing was about a 1/16 of an inch bent inwards. And what's happening is, as it slides in here, well, let me just show you how that works. It was pinching on the slides. I'll show you exactly what it was doing here. As this thing rides in here, it rides along this piece right here. So it's supposed to ride freely. What it was doing is, because it was bent inward, it was catching on this, and it was staying like this. It was not, retracting back to its normal position, which probably is maybe sitting around there. So that was a frustrating issue to track down. The other thing I noticed is the bolt itself. Let me take this out and show it to you. It had some burrs on it, and I don't know if it was causing any it to catch or stop or anything, but there were some burrs up here, and there were some. It was just kind of awkward. There were some burrs in here too, where you could run your finger in here, you could feel them. So one thing I'd recommend is kind of go through it and just take your finger along some of these edges and see if there's any burrs that are sticking up, and just take a little file and smooth them out. The other thing is, one thing that's kind of interesting, it's a shotgun, so it doesn't matter, but if you were looking for like really high precision, which you wouldn't if you were buying this gun, but the front sight is attached to this handrail it's indexed and it goes in, but I mean, it could be a little off each time, which could make your sighting off. You probably have to re-sight it every time you take it apart. Not a big deal. And again, it's a shotgun. If you're looking for precision, you're probably not buying this gun for that purpose anyway, so not a huge deal. So here, the next two are kind of serious. And maybe hopefully I can get it to do it here, but if it's on safe, I noticed that it would actually fire when it's just a little bit off of safe, like right there. Well, let me show you. It doesn't fire there, but if you're just a little bit off of safe, like let's say there, whoops, let's say there even, it will fire. And then further, if I'm fully on safe and I pull the trigger harder, it actually fires on safe. And this is terrible. Again, I'll show it to you. It's on safe right there. Pull the trigger, it fires. That is crazy. That's not good at all. The other thing I was getting when I was going to the range is I was getting these double fires. So I'd pull the trigger once and it would fire 2 rounds right away. Similar to kind of how like an automatic, but just 2 rounds. And actually the guy working at the range came over and looked at the gun, make sure it wasn't an automatic, because he heard 2 shots right away. Here's what I think is, well, I don't know exactly what's happening, but when I was pulling the trigger, let's actually go on fire. When I was pulling the trigger, it would fire, and then it would, fire around, eject it, it'd push the bolt back, then eject it, and then what would happen is, as I release it, it would fire again. So you saw how that worked. So I'm going to show you this again. I'm going to pull the trigger and hold it. Actually, I'm going to reset it. I'll pull the trigger and hold it. It's held. It'll reset with the bolt, but then when I released the trigger, it would fire again. So that's a huge issue. You pull the trigger, it fires. You release the trigger, it fires again. It is not. It cannot be designed to do that. So obviously there's an issue in here. It's the gun's going back to Panzer for review. So which brings me to my last point is Panzer's warranty is a bit ridiculous in my mind. Their warranty policy is you have to pay to ship it back to them, and it's part of the warranty. Any other manufacturer usually sends you a prepaid label to send your gun back. Panzer doesn't do that. They make you pay it back, and I sent them separate videos of this issue I'm having for the trigger, and you would think that, yeah, it's a defect, they would pay for me to ship it back, but no. They're actually requiring me to pay to ship it back to them, and they're not going to reimburse me for that. Even though they said they're going to look into the trigger and try to diagnose and fix the issue, I'm still stuck with the shipping charge to ship it back to them. In my mind, that is ridiculous. So, do I like the gun? I do like the gun. If I kind of knew all these issues going into it beforehand, I probably would not have bought this particular one, maybe even this brand. I don't know. I just, the fact that their warranty is how it is, it doesn't sit well with me. So there it is, guys. Hopefully you guys don't have the same issue that I do. Make sure, if you do get this gun, make sure you go through it with a fine-tooth comb and you make sure you don't have the issues that I have, especially the trigger issues that I've had. So thanks. All right, one quick thing I forgot to mention is I was also getting light strikes. So every 3 or every 4 rounds or so, I'd pull the trigger and nothing would happen. The firing pin would dimple the primer on the shell, but it wouldn't fire it. So I'd have to sit there and wait a few seconds, make sure it wasn't a delayed, delayed firing round. So I'd sit there and wait, reset the trigger, and fire again on the second time. It would fire the round. So, and that happened with every type of ammo we ran through it. So all the issues I'm having with it, I had the same issues with any kind of ammo that I ran through it. So the double fires with one trigger pull, the being able to fire the gun on safe, and then the constant light strikes just constantly was really frustrating and really discouraging. And then the Panzer's warranty with having to pay to ship it back to them, even though I've demonstrated the issues clearly, is really frustrating. So the gun will go back to Panzer, and I'll keep you updated.